Yep, it's getting pretty hot over this way. Obviously, you guys have reviewed the phone conference that I had in regards to Lynn Luker slash legislator here the other day. Again, it shows how I didn't even receive the proper documents that I was supposed to review, and then went ahead and had that hearing anyway, even though that I suggested that it should be delayed so I can review the records. Because Ms. Sue Nelson didn't send me the documents that she was supposed to have sent me, as was also I played to them. But in regards to Lynn Luker, what I am doing is I'm really looking also for an attorney that would be willing to come forward to help me in regards to bad faith filings. In regards to Lynn Luker, slash legislator, for the Idaho State. Because of his bad faith filing, what it was is I had to take care of my claim on my own for almost 2 years because I couldn't get an attorney that would come forward. They'd always tell me, well, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's just a game that they play, about the insurance company, because they were, I was having to fight them to get my medication. I was having to fight them, even though they lied to the Industrial Commission, stating that they had never denied me my medication or any medication, and it's all been paid for. But that's a lie. I have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of bills out there that are due. So, and if it's right, the way that it's worded by the Industrial Commission, and then the Supreme Court went ahead and followed their order, even though I was able to show to the Supreme Court the fraud that was committed. But in their opinion, they stated that I didn't even mention the medical records. But I do have a CD from the Supreme Court oral argument that I had to do on my own because Lynn Luker, he's a quitter. And, I thought I had hired him myself because I had just posted on a webpage about how the Idaho State Insurance Fund had committed fraud and how the Idaho State Industrial Commission wasn't doing nothing about it. And he contacted me. So I thought I hired him. But I'll tell you what really happened at the end of this. This is a letter that Lynn Luker, this is something that Lynn Luker filed. He was assigned, here we go, he was assigned to me by somebody, the Industrial Commission, I believe it is, the way that Elaine Kerr explained to me at oral argument, because I was pretty nervous. A lot of things were being said, and Lynn Luker did come up in the oral argument, because I thought I hired him, and obviously I guess I didn't hire him. So this is what it was. Lynn Luker, he filed this. What it is, it's a claimant's response to defendant's request for a telephone conference. Because I had filed, or there was supposed to have been a hearing in 2009 in regards to the fraud and the complaint that I had filed. But Mr. Lynn Luker, if I can get an attorney to come forward to help me, I will be suing you also for bad faith filing. Because Lynn Luker, if this is the reason why I'm hitting roadblocks, buddy, and then whatever you tried to pull the other day, to where during your hearing, but this is what Lynn Luker did, and I will explain each step of it. Claimant through counsel of record hereby responds to defendant's request for telephone status conference. But now he had also wrote a letter to the commission in March saying that this is his first knowledge of a phone conference, and if one can be set, could you set it at least 10 days after legislation? Yeah, I wasn't supposed to see that letter either. Claimant through counsel of record hereby responds to defendant's request for telephone status conference, which was done prior to Lynn Luker being hired. Defendants have requested the conference to discuss multiple filings by claimant pro se, which were not addressed in the Commission's order of November 18th of 2009. Now, why not? Because that conference, I was thinking everything was discussed. But obviously, it's the way that they do things. Because I was ignorant, so they took advantage of a naive person. The filings identified by defendants are addressed in order. A motion for an order that would require defendant to continue paying for claimant's medical treatment, filed August 4th, 2009. Well, that's because supposedly my complaint got dismissed. So now they don't want to move forward at all. I have a letter of that. Response. The motion is a reinstatement of certain benefits sought for in the complaint and may be addressed in due order and does not presently require a status conference. 2. A motion to consider all records received from the Idaho Department of Correction deemed mute, filed August 4th, 2009. Response. The motion is hereby withdrawn. Bullshit. Because what it was, and why I filed that, is because, you see, they had received my private health records in violation of a federal law on August 1st, 7th, and the 11th of 2008. They lied to the Industrial Commission between August 15th, 2008 to October 10th, 2008 and beyond. But what it was is up till then, till October 10th of 2008, they were telling the Industrial Commission, without me signing these HIPAA releases, they could not get these records from the Idaho Department of Correction. But in fact, they had already received them. And because they had already received them, as they did Safe Corporation out of Salem, Oregon, prior to sending me any medical release forms. But you see, what happened was when I found out about it, there at the end about 2008, in November, somewhere around there in 2008, I contacted Safe Corporation out of Salem, Oregon, because the medical release form that they had used to get those private health records clearly showed it wasn't given Safe Corporation permission to send anything to the Idaho State Insurance Plan, because they used another doctor's medical release form that I had signed for that doctor to send medical release forms to the State Insurance Plan. So since those records were sent back and deemed mute, well, I thought I'd do the same thing with the Oregon Department of Correction records. Well, I have filed a motion to have those deemed mute because of the fraudulent manner that they had received them. So, Mr. Luker, why would I want to withdraw that? Common sense, Mr. Luker. This is what you filed, and I wasn't aware of it. Bad faith filing, Mr. Luker. 3. A list of witnesses claimant intends to call at hearing, filed August 5th, 2009. Response. The filing is in the nature of a discovery response, and no status conference is needed. Now, you see, I'm being sanctioned because I'm not responding to all these things by a deadline that the Commission has given me to sign the medical release forms, so they can have me cover their fraud before I found out about it, but that didn't work out for them. So, Mr. Luker, Mr. Donahue, the referee of the commission, wants to sanction me, the $300. Oh, they did do it at the end in regards to this, because I was given a deadline to answer to all these. So why are you doing this now, Lynn Luker? Because they were sanctioning me for not answering these questions. But now you say, oh, withdrawal, and it'll be done later on down the road. Well, that's how I felt too. But obviously, when I was doing it, I couldn't do it. But now you're doing it, so it can be done. And then you file this thing to the Industrial Commission about a phone conference. If one is to be set it on down the road. Well, hell, if I would have said that, well, it wouldn't have worked with me. Because you're a legislator, and you had your work to do. But you didn't tell me all this. So you really didn't represent me in my best interest, Mr. Luker. 4. A motion to produce documents and things, filed August 5th of 2009. The motion is hereby withdrawn. An appropriate discovery request will be sent in due process. Okay, discovery request. That's what they were wanting me to do, or to be sanctioned. Well, actually, my complaint was dismissed because I hadn't done this. And now Lynn Luker's putting it in a writing that, no, it don't make sense to me, but hey, you know, this is what he did to take advantage of me and totally strip away everything I fought for 2 years. Now this motion for documents and things, because they had received my records from the Idaho Department of Correction, I want them to bring those forward. I had a right to review those, but they weren't wanting to give them to me because supposedly they don't have them yet. Why would I want to withdraw that, Mr. Luker? Because when I hired you, I told you everything that they had done, and I had caught them doing. Just like when they sent me back to work, fraudulently. Mr. Luker, you weren't there to help me. You were sent there, you were sent to me to help me lose my case. So I am looking for an attorney to file a civil suit in bad faith filing in regards to Lynn Luker, a legislator, and the referee, because my next video will be in regard to this letter that I just received from the Industrial Commission, which it also has all the commission's signatures on it. Boy, wait till you hear this one. Because they want to stop me from filing anymore. 5. In addition to the witness list, filed August 18, 2009, the filing is in the nature of a discovery response. No, it wasn't, Mr. Lynn Luker. The Idaho State Insurance Fund, through their attorneys, was telling the commission that I walked off my job and I quit my job. I wanted my supervisor, Ken Adams, the one that wrote the letter to me, to be returned back to work because he never received job site evaluation as I did. You see, neither me nor my boss or supervisor received the complete job site evaluation that was supposedly done, that was sent to Dr. Gross to sign off on. Me nor my boss never received it. So when I was sent back to work mysteriously, I didn't even have anything in my hand to know what I was able to do and not to do. I was just thrown back into the wolves. So again, Mr. Luker, so that wasn't just in addition to the witness list. Okay. 6. A request for payment of medical bills, filed August 18, 2009. The motion is a more specific statement of certain benefits sought for the complaint. There it is, see, my complaint that I hired Lynn Luker for. The complaint of the fraud that was done by Jewel Owens, Senior Legal Claims Examiner for the Idaho State Insurance Fund. So what did go before the Supreme Court? And that request wasn't in the in addition to the filings is let's see here, a request for the payment of a medical bill. Well, what it was is it wasn't really a medical bill. It was a contract that was wrote out for certain things to be done by my mother, Lynn Luker. And you knew that too. It was a contract that I had put together before I was to go to the hospital to have my surgery, that the hospital, you know, I had signed with, that had to be put into place before surgery. And since the company that was already giving me my rides to all my doctors and things, you know, because my doctor's appointment was in Boise, so it always cost them $150 for the trip to go from my place to my doctor's in Boise. And since they weren't going to take me for that day because of the surgery part, because they'd have to sit there all day and wait, and then drive me home. But for medical purposes, they wouldn't do it. So they wanted to hire a taxi instead, because I tried to negotiate them that they can go ahead and pay my family for it. You know, my family would take me for the $150. But no, they didn't want to do that. So they went to hiring a taxi. So when I did go to the to fill out my pre-op order and everything, they asked me, do you have a ride here and somebody to wait here? And I said, well, yeah, I have a taxi. A taxi is going to be bringing me. Well, they told me that a taxi can't do it. I can't be released to a taxi. So again, I went to Miss Julone's, and well, I went through Miss Rachel O'Barr, the attorneys for the state insurance fund, and I again said, hey man, again, I can't be released to a taxi. So finally, they agreed, and I made them mail me and fax me a letter stating before it was to happen, because I wasn't going to take the surgery until I knew that I had somebody that was going to be there and wait for me, as they said that I had to do, and plus have somebody at my home when I return home to be with me for that night, set in place. And I had that done, Mr. Luker, now didn't I? They were supposed to pay my mother $150 for the trip over and back. And they're supposed to pay Linda Elwood for aftercare to stay there at night with me at my home. And that was put into place in a contract. The contract was performed, but the surgery got postponed the first time, so it was still performed because they would have had to pay the transportation outfit if it was canceled also. So, and then what they did is they never did pay my mom or Linda Elwood for their time in the contract that Lynn Luker is trying to say. It was just a statement of certain benefits. It wasn't a benefit. It was a contract, Mr. Lynn Luker, and you know that. So why would I want to, again, bad faith filing, Mr. Lynn Luker, Idaho state legislator, who sits on the judicial, vice chair of the judicial. Wouldn't that be for the Industrial Commission? 7. Another addition to the witness list, filed August 24th, 2009. The filing response. The filing is in the nature of a discovery response, and no status conference is needed. Again, he's stripping me of everything that I have done. Okay. 8. A motion to cease and desist, filed September 8th of 2009. Response: This motion is hereby withdrawn. No, legislator. Why would I want to withdraw that? Because I was arguing, I feel that they should come before the commission and to explain to them why they are in possession of my Department of Correctional records and Safe Corporation without my authorization before I sign these medical releases. Mr. Luker, again, why would I want to withdraw that? Because that's what those are about. You see, that's what that was about. Because I have that also, the letter that I wrote in 2009. Again, y'all didn't think I was going to make it this far. And to uncover this, Mr. Lynn Luker, how fucking dare you, buddy? And then this letter here, what I received the other day, y'all were saying that I've been filing frivolous filings. So, a motion to cease and desist. This motion is hereby withdrawn. Bullshit. I didn't agree to that. Because only common sense, Mr. Lynn Luker. A motion for copies of complaints legal file filed September 8, 2009, which what I did is I requested again for all records, October, November, December, again, I had requested a copy of their records, because when they sent me records the first time around, those weren't in the records. So they withheld them from me. As they did the job site evaluation that I had to go and uncover myself during my complaint that I filed. A motion for copies of claimants' legal files filed September 5th. Response: defendants have provided claimants' counsel with a copy of the legal files, and this motion is hereby withdrawn. Now wait a minute. Because you see, here we are. As I said, I had filed for their records, and I had won that before Lynn Luker was hired. So what I ended up with is I ended up with 3 binders, big old binders full of paperwork, which were 3 of the 4 binders that was presented at the November 18th of 2010 hearing that Lynn Luker was there for. Because Lynn Luker, isn't that true? They didn't give that to you. I gave those to you for you to review, and I never got them back until after you quit. And then on top of it, there was an extra binder that was added on right there at the hearing. And what was in those that I wasn't aware about, Lynn Luker? How dare you? Because again, bad faith filing, you punk. I wish I could get an attorney, because I'm tired of arguing you guys, man. I'd rather have somebody else do this for me, because this is personal to me, man. In my opinion, you're a punk. A motion for copies of claimants' legal file. Okay, well, blah, blah, blah. Which I put, that is a lie. 3 of the 4 binders were mine. 10. A letter regarding proposed evidence and exhibits filed November 6th of 2009. Response: the following is in the nature of a discovery response, and no status conference is needed. Now, what again it was, is I was requesting that the state insurance fund, that they have received Dr. Hansen's new impairment rating. Because in a document here, I have, which in their filings they had stated that they have no objections to paying Dr. Hansen's impairment rating based on the 5th or 6th edition. So, by that statement, I went ahead and had that impairment rating done under the 6th edition. Now, didn't I, Mr. Luker, that you withheld from me for a year? Because I hadn't gotten that back yet. That I know I went and done it, and he was, he thought it was a fair request, so he went ahead and did it. And then I was just waiting for him to send it on over to the Industrial Commission, to the State Insurance Fund, and then my permanent impairment that they were paying me would then go up a little, or whatever, or down. It don't matter, because it could have hurt me, or it could have did good for me. I didn't know, but I knew that Dr. Hansen could have done my impairment rating under a 6th edition that just came out just a few months prior to him doing my impairment rating under the 5th edition. So that's what that's all about. And the filing's in the nature of discovery, but now you see, now again, it's being withdrawn. But I got sanctioned for not filing in a timely manner or whatever, because I was refusing to sign the last the last 3 medical releases that I was being requested to do, which were the Idaho Department of Correction records and the Oregon Department of Correction records, because they were making it out like I'd been in prison for several years prior to 1993, when I've never been in prison in 1993 or prior to 1993, or even in prison until I went to prison in Idaho. And then for some sheriff department or something like that. So, so here we are, Lynn Luker. Here I'm being sanctioned, and I was sanctioned, because I'm trying to file this stuff in a timely manner, and I believe that I did it in a fair manner. Because to me, in timeliness, I wasn't obligated to yet, just like they weren't obligated. But I was being ordered by the Industrial Commission, Mr. Donahue, the referee. 10, that was 10. 11, a motion to continue transportation filed November 12, 2009. The motion is more specific statement of certain benefits sought. No, it was not. For in the complaint that I hired Mr. Lynn Luker for, of the fraud that I could clearly show with my documents and proof that it had been committed. And also how I was able to show how they had been lying to the Industrial Commission for 3 months in their filings to the Commission and to me. Mr. Lynn Luker, who quit and then was awarded money for doing what, Mr. Lynn Luker? What did you do for me? Who did you contact in relation to anybody on my witness list? Not one single person, not even my supervisor, Mr. Lynn Luker. So he could testify that I didn't quit my job. I didn't walk off my job, as the State Insurance Fund have alleged I did. And since you did nothing about it, Mr. Lynn Luker, now they're really going for it. They're going for broke. Well, I'm going for broke, Mr. Lynn Luker. Oh, I can't be going for broke, because I guess I'm already broke because of you. That's why I'm going to sue you for my money back, plus for your bad faith filing, Mr. Lynn Luker, because you was assigned to my case. Because if you remember right, when I was sitting over there in Walgreens, because I had to switch my pharmacist because they were trying to say that it was Stone River that had problems with paying, but it really wasn't, was it, Mr. Lynn Luker? Especially because of what was in your filings that you were sending to the State Insurance Fund saying, hey man, he's like $490 is still owed with the pharmacy. You guys really need to get this paid, so they'll dispense this prescription, and it looks like he's already been taking this prescription, and it could have been just an oversight or something, but it needs to get paid, because I was kind of getting a little intense now, wasn't I, Mr. Lynn Luker, because I've been cut off of my medication that they're saying they never did. But hell, Lynn Luker, I've got like 4 letters that you supposedly threw into the records stating that they need to get paid. Because I think what that was for, Mr. Lynn Luker, is so you can get paid. Because in reality, now I did file something prior to hiring you, because they had filed something stating that, you know, that I'm wasting their time and we should be entitled to attorney fees. Well, I turned around and said the same thing, which is what you did for the continued denial that you're saying that you're the one that helped me get. But you see, they abused me and frivolous filings and to delay it to move on because of their fraud. It's complicated. A motion to continue transportation. Well, what that was is because it wasn't safe for me to be driving based upon the medication I was taking. Also, my doctors have also stated that it was not safe for me to be driving from 170 something miles of a round trip to doctors and back, to Boise and back, because they were refusing again. Because when I was arrested August 22nd of 2008 in Ontario, Oregon, isn't that a fact, Mr. Referee, and the commission as a whole? It wasn't in Payette on August 22nd. Was I taken to a hospital in Payette? You bet I was. I wasn't arrested. I was arrested in Ontario doing 96 miles an hour because I had a blackout. And I did take it to a jury trial, Mr. Lynn Luker. Now, didn't I? Now, why didn't you bring this up? I had blacked out, which they were aware of, because their continued denial of my medication, okay, and other matters of the stressors in my life then, because of you all, I blacked out, went to jail, took it to a jury trial, and I was found not guilty of the eluding a police officer. And I also have doctors' reports in regards to that it was associated to my injury. So, Lynn Luker, again, 12, an addendum to the motion to continue transportation filed November 12, 2009, same as number 11. But what it was, I rephrased it and said, hey, man, my doctors are telling me that I am not to be driving. But they didn't care. They didn't want to help me pay. And I also have that in phone conversations that was taped by the state insurance plan during our phone conversation that they were taping, which I wasn't aware of at first, but that's okay because I have the copies of them. Clearly shows how they were refusing me. Again, those were the 152 pages that I had filed to the Supreme Court to be added because I felt they should have been added. Because they were before Lynn Luker and they were part of the filing. A motion for documents and things filed November 13, 2009. Response: the motion is hereby withdrawn. An appropriate discovery request will be sent in due process. Now, discovery, now that's what I was supposed to have been filing. That's what I was being sanctioned for, Mr. Lynn Luker. Because I wasn't filing this stuff. But you're allowed to come in and just blow it off like a fart in the wind. That I was sanctioned. And somebody was awarded that money out of whatever they paid me. 14. A letter regarding psychiatric evaluation. Filed November 17, 2009. The letter is a more specific statement of certain benefits sought for in the complaint and may be addressed in due order and does not presently require a status conference. Now again, that was in regards to the new impairment rating that Dr. Hansen did under the 6th edition, which I went and did only based because the state insurance fund stated in their filings that they had no objections to paying Dr. Hansen's impairment rating under the 5th or 6th edition. So Mr. Lynn Luker, common sense, bad faith filing. And I'll leave it at that one, because I want to say a few other words about that one, you little... Oh, you're a legislator and I'm supposed to respect you? I don't respect you one bit, Mr. Lynn Luker. To me, you're a fraud. You take advantage of injured workers that you are assigned to help protect. The abuse of authority done by the Industrial Commission is supposed to be sitting there and well, I'll read it to you here in a few. It'll be in a different one. A letter regarding psychiatric evaluation, filed November 17, 2009, which must have been in regards to, because Lynn Luker also knew about it. Because I told him when I hired him that my doctor was doing an impairment rating, and I kept asking him, I mean, hey, have you got anything, have they got anything from Dr. Hansen in regards to the impairment rating yet? Because I wasn't going to call my doctor and bother him. But Mr. Lynn Luker kept telling me, oh, no, I haven't heard from him yet. Nope, sure haven't. And I have proof to prove it. Because, again, I wasn't supposed to make it this far. And I wasn't supposed to have the documents still in my possession after all this time. 15. A request that the claimant's new complaint that I had filed November 18th, the same day that I had finally signed the remainder of the record of releases that was asked of me to do, so I could move forward. Because it was Christmas, it was Thanksgiving time, and I was low on cash, and so what I did is I asked them for an advance on the impairment rating that Dr. Hansen did. And in order for me to get that, they wanted me to sign a stipulation and to sign those medical release forms. And what those were the Idaho Department of Correction and the Oregon Department of Correction releases, which is protected under federal law and a HIPAA, that they had already received, but I was being denied by the Industrial Commission to bring everything to a halt until the state insurance fund, until I could bring the state insurance fund before the commission to have them explain to them why they should not be sanctioned and me be awarded damages for their denial of my due process and the fraud that they had committed. And so I did file a new complaint, which they're stating right now that I didn't. But here it is, right here, right out of the mouth of Mr. Lynn Luker, because I wasn't supposed to make it this far. Based upon the foregoing, there are no matters now. You piece of Based upon the foregoing, there are no matters that require a telephone status conference. Claimant has been scheduled for a panel medical evaluation on February 16 and 17 of 2010. Discovery is continuing. At this time, the matter is not presently ready for hearing, but is proceeding in the course of pre-hearing discovery. Wherefore, claimant, I don't think so. Claimant requests that the defendant's request for a status conference be denied. Now, dated this 9th day of February of 2010. Okay, there you are, Lynn Luker. All right? Now, Mr. Lynn Luker, how dare you? And then what happened in the phone conference the other day with you? Mr. Lynn Luker, I'm coming. If I can't get an attorney to step forward to help me file these bad faith filings on you and the State Insurance Fund and the State Industrial Commission, and wait till they hear, because I know it's hard to believe, but Steve Kenyon, clerk of the court and of the Supreme Court, because you see, I do have all these emails in regards to my filings, and supposedly these, there's been an order where I have been denied this, that, and the other, but I haven't received no documents whatsoever from Steve Kenyon in regards to some of these where, there's been an order of my denial. Well, where's my order where I've been denied? It's coming in the mail. Well, where's it at? I've never received it. Just like my opinion of the Supreme Court. And the ribature, or however it's pronounced, ribature of the Supreme Court. Those are awfully fishy also, aren't they, Mr. Steve Kenyon? So you see, this is why I'm having such a hard time, isn't it, Mr. Lynn Luker? Because you was assigned to take my case. Because a lot of people already knew that I had posted that out on the webpage. On one of those attorney web pages, because I needed help. I was ignorant, but I will never do that again on one of them pages. No, I know what those are all about now. Thanks to you. Because, Lynn Luker, how dare you do this to me? And then you just quit on me? Based upon lies? But then you turn around, Lynn Luker? Because it's also posted. If y'all would go back and look at another one of my videos. Lynn Luker, you quit based upon lies. Oh, geez, I forgot to file an attorney lien. I better go back. So I hire you back. So this time, I did hire you. Because I sent you a letter. Which I have that letter too. And it also went to the Idaho State Bar. But what are they going to do about that? What's the Idaho State Bar? Oh, because I'm supposed to keep that confidential? Bullshit. Mr. Lynn Luker, where'd you keep confidential on me, Mr. Lynn Luker? What's posted out there that shouldn't be posted, Mr. Lynn Luker? That you know all about? False statements is what's posted out there. For public view. And the lies, because I didn't fire Roger Brown, Mr. Lynn Luker, which is the law firm that you used to work for, which is to get your law office, which is the law firm which Roger Brown worked for, before he withdrew himself, because he went to work for somewhere else. Okay, Mr. Lynn Luker? And the Industrial Commission, Referee Donahue, and the Commission as a whole, because you guys have got it posted, but you won't take it down. It's a lie. It's damaging me. But I can't get nobody to come forward. I wish I could. I'm asking that there's an attorney out there that handles civil matters or even criminal cases, because this is a violation of a federal law that had been violated on me. But as I look up, because I can't get an attorney to come forward, I do look up, and it's a little confusing for me, man, because it's the government that comes after the party or whatever. So I'm still having a difficult time trying to figure out how to do this, because I don't want to do it. I'd rather have somebody do it so I can spend time with my family and my grandkids and the lady that I'm with. We ain't even really been on a trip yet, man. I'm taking off for a day or two, but that's about it. But but my mind's right here, because I know I got to get back, because now I've taken 2 days away from my paperwork that I'm still thinking about over there, because I've got deadlines. But now how can I match my deadlines when you guys are pulling the stunts that you guys are? Am I too late on some of my deadlines? Well, if I am, I'm going to prove there's a reason why. If it cost me my life. Isn't that right, Miss Rachel O'Barr? Because the cops were at my house yesterday, weren't they? Because as I was talking with you on the phone, in regards to, you know what? But, when they came to my home, and they realized that that call had been recorded, and you 100% knew about it. There was no gun in this house. I wasn't about to commit suicide. Because isn't it a fact, really, Miss O'Barr, that I was telling you that I'm going to come over there, but I do fear for my life, and I feel that I may be shot to be kept quiet? Isn't that a fact, Miss Rachel O'Barr? Yeah, Miss Rachel O'Barr, it's a fact. See, I have fear that if I come over, I'll be shot to be kept quiet. Because we are involved with a Supreme Court justice and a Supreme Court clerk and a legislator who was assigned to my case. Now that I've learned, made me believe that I hired you, Mr. Lynn Luker. But if they assigned me to me, then why do you have a contract that you're trying to say that I signed with you that I know damn good and well that I did, Mr. Lynn Luker? How can that be? How can it be that you were assigned to my case and now there's a contract out there? Because that contract doesn't have no date on it. Okay, Mr. Lynn Luker? So, are you using it in regards to because you came back on the 27th? That I hired you back on the same day that you had filed your lien? And then you turn around, Mr. Lynn Luker, and quit 3 days later? One day before you could have taken the deposition of my psychiatrist, my true psychiatrist, not the one that they're using in the record, Dr. Hariza. I only seen him a few times at the very beginning. And there's no way that the firm could have called him to testify. Because isn't it true that he moved his practice all the way to Australia? Were you going to subpoena Dr. Hariza all the way from because it's talked about at the hearing, because, oh, it's such a beautiful country over there. Whatever. But you wouldn't call anybody for me, Mr. Lynn Luker? You didn't call one single person. So anyway, there I am with that. I didn't mean to take up too much of your time, but you've heard about the movie, the video that I did with Lynn Luker the other day on the 21st of October of 2013, my phone conference, that clearly shows that I'm getting screwed there too. Because they went ahead and had that hearing anyway, even though that I didn't receive all the documents to review. And then they only gave me 7 minutes for an oral argument. 7 minutes? Well, obviously you've seen what I did to show that I felt that it should be delayed. Because I got in there and I played that video of Miss Sue Nelson, who didn't get me the records like she was supposed to, because she forgot to put them in the envelope. And you can see how she's begging me to give her my email address so she can fax them to me immediately. Well, bullshit. That ain't going to happen. You mail them to me, or otherwise, I feel I get a new. It should be delayed, which I felt I should have had it in person anyway, so I can show Lynn Luker his contract that I supposedly have signed in front of people. Because there was nobody over here to show that I was telling the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God, because I am telling the whole truth. Are you Mr. Lynn Luker? Oh, you're a legislator, so legislators do lie, don't they? I have no reason to lie. Am I lying that I fought for 10 minutes for my life till somebody shut a machine off? Am I lying that it took them 40 minutes to get me out of the machine? Am I lying that they had to lifeline me because they thought they were going to amputate my arm? Am I lying that OSHA found them guilty of 21 serious violations of my job? Am I lying? Am I lying that Ken Adams nor me received the job site evaluation so we knew what the obligation was? Am I lying? Am I lying that Sandy Basket, after I was forced to go back to work, and I said, whoa. Then she sets up a meeting at my job to take pictures of the job site area where I was forced to return back to work. Am I lying Am I lying that she also called and canceled that appointment? It's because I think she did go out there. Because when they found out where I had to go to work, they didn't want to take no pictures. Because clearly it would show again that they had caused me more psychological damages by putting me next to that fucking machine that almost took my life just weeks afterward. Because Miss Carol Garland, who got to retire shortly after what she pulled, because I uncovered the job site evaluation, and weeks later she retired. Just like right now, during the agency's records, Miss Wilson / Arnold of the records, clerk of the records, all these altered documents that went across her desk and sent back to me, she had an obligation and a duty to tell somebody about them. But now that I'm learning, shit, they were all involved. Because it took them a year to do the findings of facts, which Lynn Luker had my file in his possession for that year that he didn't do jack shit. So again, that was the year that they had, because that's where a lot of these altered documents were put back in the file that I gave to Lynn Luker, that I had taken out to argue with these people. Hey now, wait a minute. So what they did is they turned around. But I did make it this far, didn't I? Not because I wanted to. Because, I ain't got much more energy to go, man. Because if the commission gets away with this, I'm afraid of what I might do if I can't get somebody to step up here for me. Because I have been cut off all my medication. I mean, I am in severe pain every single day of my life. But they don't care. I have to try to overcome that pain. And the emotional part of trying to fight for what Lynn Luker took away from me after he was assigned to my case to start filing so it could take away the fraud, cover up the fraud of the state insurance fund, and to cover up the abuse of authority by Mr. Referee Donahue of the state commission. So they had a state legislator who sits as vice chair in the judicial contact me to take my case to find out everything that they did have done, and then to help them fix it. Not to help me. What did you do, Lynn Luker? But you were awarded almost $4,000 in regards to that fucking lien that you filed on December 27th, and then quit again 3 days later. But then in your little filings with the board, you're trying to make it out like because of the December 29th letter, okay, that obviously you can't hide because I brought it to everybody's attention. And again, that's what you guys have been doing. Every time I say something, you guys try to cover it up. But you see, what you guys have done wrong is when you download it to your computer, you can read it like that. But when you want to copy it off of your computer onto paper, it looks a hell of a lot different than what you're looking at, doesn't it? So please, if there is somebody out there that would be willing to take a civil suit, which Lynn Luker, which all settlement offers are to be forwarded to the Supreme Court, there is one out there for $798,000. Because I have a copy of it that he sent to the state insurance fund. Because, again, I am disabled. And that was in June of 2010 that he filed that. Again, a lot's going on here. That's just a little bit. And here it is, 54 minutes and 21 seconds. Here we are again, late at night. I'm up late at, I don't get to spend time with my family. This is what I got to do. So why don't you guys just step forward and do the right thing in the fairness of justice instead of trying to screw somebody? Because if I come forward, you guys are just blowing right out of the water, and why you guys are making all these millions of dollars overhead because you guys aren't paying anybody out because you guys are taking advantage of us. You all are making, your shareholders are making millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Because You guys aren't paying out anybody that gets injured. You screw them. But I caught you. All what I want to do is get up in the morning, put my feet on the ground, and move forward.